Let's see the first question. Um, Pratik has three sisters, and these are the names, and they are collecting coins. They have initially A coins, B coins, and C coins, and Pratik has Pratik has N coins. So, okay. Now, what he wants to do is that he want to distribute N coins to his sisters in such a way that all the sisters have equal number of coins. Okay, so in other words, let's say if Pratik gives this is a capital A to Akanksha and a capital B to these sisters, then A plus B plus C is equals to N, and the coins after the distribution should be equal. So the trick for such questions, let's draw the question here. So actually, to trick to solve such questions in which includes making the number of coins or some quantity to equal, is using bar graphs. So let's say these are the coins initially sister A has, this is B, and say this is C. Okay, so in such questions, our means these are the initial coins that these sisters have. Okay, so in this question, our first requirement will be to make them equal to the maximum of them. Okay, so let's say C has five coins, A has two coins, and B has three coins. So our first requirement will be to make three to equal to this five, and make two is equals to this five. Okay, that is we require a total five coins to make them all equal to the maximum of them. Okay, and then let's say this is a maximum of our coins, and so our requirements of coins will be what maximum uh, so maximum minus A plus maximum minus B and maximum minus C, right? This will be this requirement is the number of coins to make all these coins equal to the maximum of A, B, and C. And after that, we have remaining coins from N, that will be N minus requirement, right? So now this remaining of coins, first of all, what should be it should be equal to greater than equals to zero, right? And second is that the remaining should be divisible by three, right? Uh, okay. So this was the first questions. There is one mistake that some of the guys were doing, is that they were checking N plus A plus B plus C. They were checking this is equals to modulo 3 or not. Actually, this is wrong. Why so? Let's take an example. So let's say A was 1, B was 2, and C was 9. Okay, and N was say 3. Now, if you see A plus B plus C plus N is divisible by 3, that is total 15, and is divisible by 3, right? But actually, when we distribute N to 3, so how will we distribute? Because let's say I distribute 3 to him, to her, and 0 to her. We cannot make these equal, right? So this was the first mistake. Okay, so first observation is that we have to make these two equal to 9. So we require 7 here, and here we require 8, right? So we require at least 15 number of coins. We require at least 50 number of coins to make these coins equal, to make A, B, and C equal. And after that, some remaining coins will be there, and we have to check that if we can distribute them between them equally or not. Got it? Any confusion? Hello?
If anyone has doubt, you can ask it from sir.
Okay, no one. So let's write the code. So let's n, a, b, and c are the given inputs. Okay. So max is equals to max of a, b, and c, and we have required is equals to max minus a, right? And we have remaining coins. Remaining will be n minus required. Now, if remaining should be greater than equals to 0, first of all, right? And remaining should be means its modulo should be equals to 0. If that's the case, then print yes, otherwise no. Okay. So shall we move to next question? Hello.
If anyone has any doubt, they can ask.
I guess we should move forward, sir.
Okay. Okay. Great. So second question. Uh, Deepak, please come back. So let's read the second question. So Deepak wants to learn some subjects. There are total n subjects. Okay, and each subject has CI of chapters. So when you teach him, you are supposed to teach all the chapters of subject continuously. Means we like if I have what does this line means that if I choose one first subject, then and it has say 4 chapters. Okay, so I will teach the 4 chapters continuously, and after that I will move to the second subject. Okay, the second then next in his initial per chapter learning power is x hours. That means for every chapter he requires x hours. Okay, and while Deepak is not complete down, there is a good thing. What is it that the time required to teach any chapter for the next subject will require exactly 1 hour less than previous required. It means for the first subject, if it was requiring x hours, then for the second subject it will require x minus 1 hours. Okay, and note that this power is cannot be less than 1 hour. So there will be either it means it will be minimum of x minus 1 and 1. Okay, uh, sorry, uh, maximum of, okay, sorry. So you can teach him n subjects in any possible orders. Find out the minimum amount of hours required to teach him. So what we are given is that first of all we are given total n number of subjects, and we are giving x the initial power uh, per chapter. Okay, the next line contains the number of chapters for each subject. So, so so we are giving n the number of subjects, okay, and we are giving x the initial power, and we are giving a number of chapters. Let's say for first example, we have 2, 3, 4, 1. So n is 2. There are 2 chapters. For initial power is 3 hours, and the number of chapters are 4 and 1 respectively. Okay. Now let's say we are teaching in order for 1 and 2. And this is a zeroth subject. Sorry, let's say a zero-based indexing. It is zeroth subject, and this is index 1 subject. We are first we are teaching zero subject and then first subject. Okay. Now, what will the total hours required? 4 multiplied by 3 uh, plus number of chapters in the second subject multiply the hours. So hours will be 1 less than 3, that is 2. So there will be 14 hours required. Let's try out the other possible combination. That will be one. First we will teach the first subject, means the first subject, and then the zeroth subject. In that case, it will be 1 multiplied by initial chapter power is 3, and then 4 plus that power decreases by 1, that is 2, which is 11. Okay, so now we have changed the order. In the first order, the total hours required was 14, and in the second order, the total what is the total power? Total hours required is 11. There is an observation is here. There is observation here then that we change the two. That is, we when we change the lesser, the subject with the lesser chapters to the first, means we teach it earlier. Then the number of chapters is required less. Okay, we can prove this. Let's say there are 2 chapters. So there are 2 subjects, A and B. It has chapter A and other has chapter B. So the total power required when we teach A first is A into X plus B into X minus 1. Right? Let's say we have less than here we are teaching A first and then B. Now we are teaching B first and then A second. Okay, so here you will see that when you cancel out the both terms, it will be minus B less than minus A, that is A less than B. So whenever there are 2 subjects which has chapter A, number of chapters A and number of chapters B, and when A is less than B, then teaching A first will be less costlier. Right? Got it? Got it? So there are many subjects. We have C, means A, B, C, D. We have many subjects with these number of chapters. What we can do is that we can sort this in ascending order. Okay, we can sort this and then find the total hours required. That will give it that will give us the optimum solution. समझा गया? Any कोई confusion? Hello.
Yes, sir, we got the point.
Okay. So let's write the code. किसी ने कुछ लिखा? So what we are given first, we are given n and x. Okay, so n is equals to number of subjects, x is initial power, okay, and c is array of subjects, means let's say this is a chapters, array of number of chapters. Okay, so what we do is that first of all we sort chapters in ascending order, and then for let's say and what is, let's say let's initialize our answer with 0. for every chapter C in chapters answer plus is equals to uh, C multiplied by X. C is the number of chapters and X is a power means hours required per chapter. And after that, X will be what will be X? X will be my max of X minus 1 and 1. Now, when X is let's say 4, so value of this X will be 3, right? X minus 1 3, max of 3 and 1 is 3. And when X is 1 here, X is 1 here, then X minus 1 will be 0 and it will be 1. So maximum will be 1. So when X is 1, then subsequent values of X will be 1. And then we have our answer. Okay. So any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So the next problem is Pankaj and the divisors. Okay. So Pankaj is a mathematician which has sequence of n integers. Okay, and n is divisible by 3. So total painting, I cannot write. What is happening? Okay, each of them is at most 7. Okay, so there are we are given n integers and maximum value of them is 7, and it is positive integers. Positive integers means natural numbers, means greater than equals to 1. So we are given a range between okay. So the positive integers means the numbers greater than 1, greater than equals to 1. So every number which is greater than equals to 1. And each of them is at most 7. So we are given between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. So these n numbers will belongs to this set only. And she wants to split the sequence into group of 3 so that each group has 3 numbers. So because it is divisible by 3, so after division we will have exactly n minus n by 3 groups. Okay, and the condition is that a less than b less than c, or the number should be distinct, and a divides b and b divides c. Okay, so naturally Pankaj wants to each element sequence to be exactly one of 3 group. So means इसका मतलब कि जो n में हर element है that should belong to exactly one group. It what does this mean? That it should means या नहीं exclude होना चाहिए और नहीं किसी दो या दो से ज्यादा ग्रुप में होना चाहिए, exactly one group में होना चाहिए. So which means that there should be exactly n by 3 groups. Okay, so we have to find the required partition and or say that it doesn't exist. So first what we are given is that we are given n, and then after that we are given n positive integers. So it is granted that n is divisible by 3. Okay, so question समझ में आ गया ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so we are given numbers between 1 to 7, and our task is to find a, b, and c numbers such that a is less than b, b is less than c, and a divides b, and b divides c. In such case, hash diagrams are quite helpful. Means let's say we create this. So 1 divides 2. Okay, so this edge means upward. When we go edge to upward, it means that a divides b. So 1 divides 2, 2 divides 4, and 2 divides 6 also. Okay, and we are maximum range is 7, means 4 divides 8 also, but we our maximum range is 7 only, so we will go up to 7 only. And 1 divides 3, okay, and 3 divides 6, 1 divides 5, and 1 divides 7 also. Here the relation is transitive, 1 divides 2 and 2 divides 4, this means 1 divides 4 also. Okay, now you can see what is a mark. So you can see that we require exactly three numbers, right? So here 1, 2, 4. So this is the required possible means possible partitions 1, 2, and 4. A, B means A is 1, B is 2, and C is 4. A divides 2 and D divides 4. Other is 1, 2, 6. Okay. Other is 1, 3, 6. And 1 5 is not possible because it will contain only two numbers, but we require three. And 1 7 is also not possible, right? Because we require exactly three elements. So what does this mean? That if this sequence contains either 5 or 7, it means that our answer will not exist, right? Okay, so let me change the pen. If we have 5 and 7, the answer will not exist. Okay, and the other is that in every partition we have one, right? So let's say our partition size will be, let's say we are representing it with p is equals to n by 3. So this is the number of partitions. So the number of 1 should be equal to p, right? Because one is in every partitions, so the number of ones should must be 1, p as p. If it is not p, then the solution doesn't exist. The second condition is that number of 1, sorry, number of 2, because here at the second positions we have either 2 or 3. So number of 2 plus number of 3, that should also be equal to p, right? And if it is not the case, then the solution doesn't exist. Also, and in the third place for the C, we have either 4 or 6. So number of 4 plus number of 6, it should be equal to p. Okay, and if it is not the case, then the answer doesn't exist. And there are two more conditions here. What is that? So see 2 can divide 4, either 4 or either 6, but 4 can be divided only by 2, right? So what does this mean? That number of 4 should be less than equals to number of 2. Let's take an example where we have 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. So here we have one possible partition 1, 3, 4, but we cannot take this as a partition because 3 doesn't divide 4. So number of 4s should be less than equals to number of 2. Similarly, here only 3 can divide only 6. 6 can be divisible by both 2 and 3. So number of 3s should be less than equals to number of 6, because the rest of 6 will be divisible by 2. Because from this condition, n of 2 and plus n of 3 is equals to p, we will have enough 2 to divide the remaining 6. Okay. Any confusion so far? Okay. So shall we move to the code?
Yes, sir. We should move forward.
Okay. Too small. Okay, what we are given? We are given n numbers. Okay, so n is equals to number of integers, and we have what? let's say call this array as arr is equals to array of given integers. Okay, then we have, let's say count is another integer, sorry, another array of size 8. uh, what does this will say? Count of 0. uh, so count of 0 is always equals to 0. We will not be using this, but count of 1 is equals to the number of ones present in this array arr. Okay, so count of 2 will be the means count 2 will be the count of 2 in the given array, similarly up to 7. Okay, so, so for integer I in array, so we are looping over the every integer present in this array. So we simply increment array of I plus plus with, and we need to initialize it with 0 also. Initialize all to 0. Okay, now we have count of every every number between 1 to 7. Now we will check our conditions. So first condition is that if count of 5 is greater than equals to 1, or let's say or to this, or count of 7 is greater than equals to 1, uh, right? If there is any one, we covered here, right? Because if we have 1 5, then we will not reach to n by 3 partitions. Okay, so let's let's create another variable here. P is equals to n by 3. That is the number of partitions. So otherwise what we have, that count of 1 is not equals to p. So number of p must be is equals to p. Number of 1 must be equals to p, that is n by 3. And if it is not the case, then we will print minus 1. That is, the answer doesn't exist. Other conditions are what? That count of 2 plus count of 3, that should exactly equals to p, and if it is not p, then we will print minus 1. Otherwise, other condition is what? Count of 4 plus count of 7, sorry, 6. And if it is, it must be equals to p, right? And if it is not p, then we will again say that the answer doesn't exist. The next condition was that count of 2, the count of 2 must be greater than equals to 4, right? Our condition was that count of 4 should less than equals to count of 2. So if it is not the case, that is count of 2 is less than count of 4, then we will say again that the answer doesn't exist. And other is, the last condition is that the count of 6 is greater than count of 3. No, opposite, sorry, count of 3 is greater than count of 6. So these are these were the all the conditions that will say that answer doesn't exist. Okay, and we will return here. And we will just return print after printing. And if the any of the condition doesn't match here, then it where we say that solution exists. What will the solution? So solution will be printing 1 2 4. First of all, we will print 1 2 4, and then 1 2 6, and then 1 3 6. Okay, so first of all, for text is t. Okay, so so while, how we will print that? While count of 2 is not equals to 0, when count of 2 is not equals to 0, that is we will print 1 to 4 and 1 to 6. So then we will check while count of that is 4 is not equals to 0, then we will print 1, 2 and 4. And similarly for 2 only, if the count of 6 is not equals to 0, then we will print 1, 2 and 6. And after that we have printed the combinations of 2, then we will print combinations of 3. So while count of 3 is not equals to 0, we will print 1, 3 and 6. And this will guarantee that these solutions, these conditions, the above conditions will guarantee that this will be a valid solution. That is, we are printing 1, 3 and 6 and there is no 6. That will not happen in any case. These conditions will means what? We'll check that. We'll ensure that. Okay. So the complexity of this code is what? The space complexities we are using here count array, that is of size 8 always, that is constant size. So space complexities of 1, and time complexity will be here we are looping over all the elements, that is n times, and here we are looping again for count of 2, and means it will be again bounded by O of n. Right, count of 2 will be less than equals to n, and count of 4, if count of 2 is let's say 3, then count of 4 will be, means count of 2 plus count of 4 plus count of 6 will be order of n only, right? It will not n square, and again it will be again order of n, so time complexity will be O of n. Okay, any confusion? हेलो
Yes, sir.
हाँ जी
I
बोलो.
I think it is clear to everyone. We should move forward.
Okay. So let's move towards fourth question. Permutation, restoration. Okay. Okay. So the array of integers p1 to pn is called permutation if it contains number from 1 to n exactly once. What does this mean? That there are total n numbers, and value of n numbers is ranges between 1 to n, and they are exactly one time. So what it is saying is, so here is 312, here it is 312. So the length of array is 3, so the number should be lie between 1 to n, yani 1 to 3, and here are 1, 2 and 3 which are exactly ones. Okay, here the length of array is 1, here it is 5. They can be in any order, but the condition is that the numbers between 1 to n should be there exactly once. So here is also the length is 4, that n is 4, and numbers are between 1 to 4. And here the length is 1, so it should be 1 to 1. Right? It must be 1 to 1, but here it's 2, so it is not a permutation. And here the length is 2, so the number should be 1 and 2. But here, first of all, the 1 is repeating, and 2 is not there. And here the length is 3, the number should be lie between 1 and 3. But here the 1 is missing and 4 is there, but it should not be there. So it is not a permutation. Okay. So Prabhat invented a real cool permutation. So he invented a permutation of length n, but actually he forgot what the permutation was. So what we are given is that he only remembers that differences between those permutations. So the permutation is 4, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so he remembers difference between pi plus 1. So, where it is. So uh, um, he remembers the difference between pi plus 1 and pi. That is, he remembers the difference 1 minus 4 minus 3. It is not working. Okay, let's do it. So let's say initial permutation was 1, 4, 2, 3. So he remembers pi plus 1 and pi. That is, he remembers 1 minus 4 minus 3, 2 minus 1, 1, 3 minus 2, that is 1. So he remembers this array, not this. So what is our task? So so we are given this the difference array, and we have to restore that permutations. Okay, uh, so obviously the length, if the length of permutations was 4, the length of this given array will be 1 less, that is 3. Okay, so the zeroth, that is q0, will be difference between p1 and p0, right? Q1 will be difference between with p2. Here we are indexing 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it will be difference between P2 and P1, and similarly Q2 here, P3 and P2. So what is the observation here? So if we are given, let's say if we have let P0 is X, means after reading the problem, what will we observe? That is, let's say P0 is X, then we know P1 will be what? X minus 3, right? And what will be P2? Now we have P1, that is X minus 3. Then what will be P2? P2 will be this P2 will be X minus that is P1. So here we can calculate P2. P2 is Q1 plus P1. That is, P1 is X minus 3 plus Q1 is 1. That is X minus 2. In the similar way, P3 is what? X minus 1. Okay, now actually we have found the permutation. First is X, that is, second is X minus 3, other is X minus 2, and next is X minus 1. So we can skip this X thing, and we can write the first is 0, P0 is 0, other is minus 3, other is minus 2, and other is minus 1. So this is our permutation. Now we have to normalize it to 1, 2, and that is size is 4, so we have to normalize to 4. So we know the minimum number in a permutation is 1, right? So what is the minimum number here? That is minus 3. Now we have to make minus 3 equal to 1. So what we do is that we add 4 here. So we add 4 in every element, so it becomes 4 plus 0, 0, 4 minus 3, 1, 4 minus 2, 2, and 4 minus 1, 3. So now the permutation is restored. Okay. Let's take another example. They have given it, right? So let's say this example. We are given n is equals to 5, and differences are 1, 1, 1, and 1. Now the first number is x. Second is x plus 1. That is x plus 1, x plus 1. Then the third number is x plus 1 plus this one. That is x plus 2. Then we have x plus 2 plus 1. That is x plus 3. And then we have x plus 3 plus 1. That is x plus 4. Right? We can drop the x from all. So it is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the minimum number is 0 here. Now we need to add 1 to all. No, means we have to make x is equals to 1 here. So minimum of this is x. Right? Now we need x is equals to 1. So what we do is that we add 1 to all of the elements. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this way, the permutation is restored. Any confusion? How did we approach the problem? Okay, no one. Okay, so then jump to code. Okay, let's write here. So we are given n that is the size of permutation. Okay, and then we have what q array, right? We have q is the array of differences. Let's p is equals to the original permutation. First of all, we will calculate all the differences, right? So we will loop over from some I is equals to some initial position and to the final position. And what we'll do is that P of that I will be equals to, so we know P of I is equals to, P of 0 is equals to 0, right? P of 0 is equals to 0. Why so? Because we are taking first element as always x. We are taking this element is always x, so so it is always 0, right? And then so we need to start from I is equals to 1, right? So let's write in C++ style, int I is equals to 1, so I is less than n and I plus plus. Okay, so P of I, now the P of 1, what will be equal to? P of 1 is equals to P of this, P of I. So what is wait? Q of I was P of I plus 1 minus P of I. Now we need to calculate this Pi plus 1. Pi plus 1 is equals to Qi plus Pi. We know the previous Pi and Qi. So now if it is I, then it becomes I minus 1 and I minus 1. Okay, so here, so Pi is equals to P of I minus 1 plus Q of I minus 1. Right, now we have calculated all these values 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 in this case, and here in this case we have calculated 0, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. Now what we need is that we need to find the minimum of these differences. What are these values? These are difference between Pi. So let me tell you here. So here this value is difference between Pi and P0, the first element. Here minus 3 is what? The difference, the term that will come here minus this, the first term. Okay, these are the differences. So we need to find the minimum difference. So minimum difference, let's say minimum of this array P. Okay, so the first, so our x, what will our value of x? It will be 1 minus minimum difference, right? Because let's say this is x minus k. Okay, and we need where k is the minimum of these 1, 2, 3 or minus 3, whatever they were. So it is minus k, and we need to make it 1. So this will be x is equals to 1 plus k. Okay, right. So here it will be plus. So because k will always be less than equals to 0. In such a case that in a case when all are positive, then we have x0. We have here x0 will be the minimum. If there is at least one which is negative, and here which is negative, then k will be so okay. Actually, we are taking minus here, so here it will be k greater than equals to 0. Okay, sorry. There is eraser. So here k will always be greater than equals to 0. Okay, so this ensures that n here x value of x will always be greater than equals to 1, right? So here, sorry, it will be x plus so 1 plus minimum difference, and now again we will loop over all the elements and add, and we will add x to all the elements, and then we will print the permutation. Okay, any confusion, any doubt? काफी शांत हो यार, बोलो कुछ तो. हेलो.
Yes, sir.
कोई नहीं डाउट? हेलो, कोई तो होना चाहिए यार डाउट तो.
I guess किसी को नहीं है सर डाउट.
Okay, then move to 5th question. So in Anurag Garden, there grows a peculiar apple tree that fruits once per year. Okay. So अनुराग के गार्डन में क्या है, एक एप्पल ट्री है जो कि हर साल में सिर्फ एक ही बार फ्रूट देता है. ओके, ये पेक्यूलियर है, अजीब है. क्यों? क्योंकि देयर आर एन इनफ्लोरेसेंस. इनफ्लोरेसेंस का मतलब ट्री का वो पार्ट जहाँ पे वो लगते हैं, फ्रूट लगते हैं. ठीक है, एंड नंबर फ्रॉम 1 to n. Inflorescence number 1 is situated near the base of tree. Okay, क्यों नहीं चल रहा? So the one is placed near the base of tree, and any other inflorescence with number I. So 2 is situated at the top of branch, and which bottom is p-ith inflorescence. What does this mean? Okay. So actually we are given, say, for this to understand this statement, let's jump to this here. We are given p2, p3 and pn. What does this mean? That this is the base of inflorescence number 2, that is p2. So if p2 is 1, value of p2 is 1, what does this mean? This means that F9, okay. This means the base of fluorescence number 2 is 1, and value of p3 is 1. This means that base of 3 is also 1. Okay, so it means we are given trees like this. And now let's move further. Once tree starts fruiting, there appears exactly one apple in each fluorescence. हर fluorescence में सिर्फ exactly एक apple आ जाता है at the same moment. Okay, and at the same moment apple appears. जैसे ही वो apples appear होते हैं, they start to roll down along the branches by the base of tree. So 3 moves to 1 and 2 moves to 1. If there are upper branches, let's say here is 4, that 4 at the moment where the 2 moves to 1, that moment 4 will move to 2. Okay, each second, हर सेकंड के अंदर इस all the apple except ones in the first inflorescence, इनको छोड़कर they simultaneously roll down one branch closer to the tree base. It means 4 will roll to 2 and 2 will roll to 1. So means अगर 3 और 2 वाले हैं वो सारे नीचे आ जाएंगे, that is एक में. 4 वाले, और यहाँ पे मान लिया 5 था, ठीक है, यहाँ पे मान लिया 6 था, तो 6 वाला 3 में आ जाएगा, 4 वाला 2, 5 वाला 2 में आ जाएगा एक सेकंड के बाद. ओके, एंड अनदर सेकंड में 3 2 वाले तो यहाँ आ गए थे, वो यहीं रहेंगे, और ये वाले कहाँ जाएंगे, फिर 1 में आ जाएंगे, 3 नीचे। ओके, so what does this mean? For example, eighth fluorescence gets to PA, so means 2 वाला जो है वो किस में आ जाएगा, P2 में आ जाएगा, यानी P2 की वैल्यू क्या है 1। ओके, 3 वाला कहाँ जाएगा, 3 वाला कहाँ जाएगा, P3 में आ जाएगा, यानी उसकी वैल्यू क्या है 1। ओके, इट मीन्स जो उनका पेरेंट है उसमें आ जाएगा। Apples that end up first in fluorescence are gathered by अनुराग exactly the same moments। जैसे ही 3-2 वाले नीचे आ जाएंगे वैसे ही अनुराग जो है उनको ले लेगा, मतलब उठा लेगा, ठीक है। सेकंड peculiarity is that once the 2 apples are in same inflorescence they annihilate। it means जैसे ही अब 3 और 2 वाले 2 एप्पल 1 के अंदर आए तो 2 एप्पल आगे वो क्या हो जाएंगे, एनिलेट, वो खत्म हो जाएंगे। इसका मतलब कि जो पेयर वाले एप्पल्स हैं वो खत्म हो जाएंगे। अगर 5 एप्पल हैं टोटल तो 4 खत्म हो जाएंगे आपस में मिलके और सिर्फ एक एप्पल बचेगा, दैट इज मॉडुलो 2, राइट। एंड अगर 8 एप्पल आए तो इसका मतलब सारे के सारे जो टोटल 4 पेयर बन जाएंगे तो सारे के सारे एप्पल्स एनिलेट हो जाएंगे, 0 बचेंगे। सो thus there can be no more than 1 apple at each fluorescence at each in each moment of time। मतलब एक बार में सिर्फ ज्यादा से ज्यादा एक ही एप्पल हो सकता है, या तो कोई भी ना हो या फिर एक होएगा। Now we have to find the total number of apples that he will collect in the first inflorescence during one harvest। मतलब वो एक साल में कितने एप्पल्स जो है इकट्ठे करेगा, यानी टोटल ऊपर से टोटल कितने एप्पल 1 के अंदर आएंगे, हमें वो फाइंड करना है। ओके, so first of all we are given what n, we are given n the number of inflorescence, and second is we are given array of P2 PC and Pn, P2 P3 and up to Pn, sorry this will be P3 up to Pn, that is parents there। okay, so let's take an example just directly। is this 1 2 2, let's say this, so we are 1 2 2 and 2 and n is 4 here, n is equals to 4 here। so first नीचे है 2 वाले का पेरेंट 1 and then 3 वाले का पेरेंट 2, then 4 वाले का पेरेंट, then 5 वाले का। so जैसे ही हार्वेस्ट शुरू होती है एक एप्पल यहाँ पे है, एक एप्पल यहाँ पे, एक एप्पल यहाँ पे, एक एप्पल यहाँ पे, एक यहाँ पे, तो एक ये वाला वो कलेक्ट कर लेगा, ठीक है। सेकेंड मूवमेंट पे ये एक यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, ठीक है। ये वाला एक यहाँ पे, ये वाला एक यहाँ पे, एक यहाँ पे आ जाएगा, ठीक है। यहाँ पे 0 रह गया, यहाँ पे 0 रह गया, यहाँ भी 0 रह गया, और यहाँ पे कितने हो गए, 3 एप्पल आ जाएंगे, उनमें से 2 जो है एनिलेट हो जाएंगे और सिर्फ एक ही बचेगा, राइट। नीचे एक पहुंचा, पहले एक कलेक्ट कर चुका था, दूसरा 1 जो है वो कलेक्ट कर लेगा। नेक्स्ट सेकंड पे यहाँ पे जो एक है ऊपर से कोई एप्पल नहीं आ रहा, जो यहाँ पे एक है वो नीचे आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे 0 बचेगा, यहाँ पे एक रह जाएगा, तो वो उसको उस एक को कलेक्ट कर लेगा, यानी आंसर अपना क्या आ जाएगा 3। ओके, सो ऑब्जर्वेशन, अब इसमें ऑब्जर्वेशन क्या है कि मान लिया कुछ और लेवल्स हैं यहाँ पे, एक यहाँ पे है, एक यहाँ पे, एक यहाँ पे है, एक मान लिया यहाँ पे है। ओके, तो जो ये इस लेवल वाले जो एप्पल है सब नीचे वाले, यहाँ पे सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक एप्पल होएगा, ठीक है, और वो कभी एनिलेट नहीं होएगा। इस लेवल पे यानी फर्स्ट लेवल पे यहाँ पे क्या होंगे, 2 एप्पल होंगे, जब वो दोनों नीचे पहुंचेंगे वो क्या हो जाएंगे, एनिलेट हो जाएंगे। इस लेवल पे टोटल कितने हैं, 1 2 3 4 5, टोटल 5 है। जब ये 2 नीचे पहुंचेंगे यहाँ तो 0 रह जाएगा, जब ये 3 यहाँ पहुंचेंगे यहाँ पे 1 रह जाएगा, फिर जब ये 0 1 नीचे पहुंचेंगे यहाँ पे 1 रह जाएगा, ठीक है। यहाँ भी मतलब इसका मतलब कि 2 जो है वो एनिलेट हो ही जाने हैं, मतलब अगर ये ऑड नंबर है तो इनमें से एक ही बचेगा। अगर इस लेवल पे नंबर ऑफ नोड्स जो है वो क्या है, ऑड है, अगर ऑड है तो वहां पे 1 ही बचेगा, ठीक है। और अगर इस लेवल पे इवन है, ठीक है, वो क्या बचेगा 0, क्योंकि जो ये वाला एप्पल है, ये वाला एप्पल है वो एनिलेट किसके साथ करेगा, सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने लेवल के नोड्स के साथ ही एनिलेट करेगा, वो कभी नहीं नीचे वालों के साथ मिलेगा, नहीं कभी ऊपर वालों के साथ मिलेगा। ओके, सो तो अब हमारा क्वेश्चन किस में रह जाता है कि हर लेवल पे नंबर ऑफ नोड्स कैलकुलेट करेंगे कितने हैं और उनका मॉडुलो 2 लेके उनका सम कर देंगे, दैट विल बी आवर आंसर। Got it? समझाया? हेलो?
Yes, sir.
अभी भी नहीं है कंफ्यूजन? Okay. No worries. So, फिर कोड करें फिर? So n is equals to our number of inflorescence. Okay, I am saying it nodes only. And okay. First of all, we need to store the depth of each node. Okay, so or level of each node. So we will create a levels that will be array of size n plus 1. जो level of 0 होएगा, जो लेवल ऑफ 0 होएगा वो किसी काम का नहीं होएगा. जो लेवल ऑफ 1 होएगा वो क्या आएगा? इज इक्वल्स टू 1 होएगा, यानी 1 का लेवल कि क्या है. जो 1 है वो लेवल 1 पे है. ठीक है. जो लेवल ऑफ 2 इस अपने इस एग्जांपल के लेवल ऑफ 2 क्या हो जाएगा? 2 हो जाएगा. लेवल ऑफ 3 है वो भी क्या आएगा? 2 होएगा. राइट. लेवल ऑफ 4 है वो क्या आ जाएगा? 2 हो जाएगा. हम यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे? उनके लेवल स्टोर करेंगे. ओके. So there are total n nodes. We are indexing on with base 1. So that's why we are needing. Excuse me. So because we have total n nodes and we want to index on base of 1. So that's why we are taking here size n plus 1. Okay. Let's say p is equals to array of parents. So so level of here, level of 1 equals to 1. We are initializing to 1. Okay. So for I is equals to 2 to n, let's write in C++ type. Int I is equals to 2, I is less than equals to n, I plus plus. So here we now we are checking the level of means wait. So our array will be p0, p1, p2 like this array, and p0 will be the parent of node 2, p1 will be parent of node 3, and p2 will be parent of node 4. Right. Here we are here what does this p2 means? Parent of node 2. Right. So what will be parent here? So parent will be p of I minus 2. Right. That is parent of node 2 will be situated at p0. Okay. And its level is equals to level of parent plus 1. Right. And we will also maintain one more let's say count, means level counts, how many nodes are on a particular level. So maximum number of levels will be how much? N. Right. Array of size n, initialized with 0. Okay. So so here, so level, at this level we have found one another node, so we increase the count at that one, and we also set levels of this node I is equals to this level. Okay. Now now we can count for all the means, let's say we are answer is equals to 0, and for all the nodes int I is equals to 1. No, we have level count, right? So size is n. Okay, 0 to less than n I plus plus. What will your answer? Answer will be count level counts. Sorry, but I modulo 2. That is our answer. Got okay. Any doubt? हेलो, बोलो यार कुछ तो.
आई गेस सर आगे ही बढ़ते हैं, किसी को डाउट नहीं है.
सही है यार, सबको समझ आ रहा है. सही है. It was question 1, it was 2, it was 3, it was 4, it was 5. Right. Now 6. Okay. So let's move to last question. Roads not only in Bihar. Okay. So Bihar government decided to improve relations with neighbor countries. Okay. First of all, it was decided to build new roads so that from each city of Bihar, neighboring country, it is become possible to reach all the others. Okay. So what does this mean? Uh, okay. It means if this is city in Bihar, this is also city in Bihar, and this is city in some other country, and this is also a city in some other country. Okay. So we have to build roads such that we can reach from this, let's say A, B, C, and D. We can reach A to B, B to D, and D to C. Now, if we build these 3 new roads, we can reach A to D via B. We can reach A to C via B and D. Okay, so that was decided. Okay, but there are n cities in Bihar and neighboring countries in total. So including all the cities, we have total n cities. Okay, and exactly n minus 1 two-way roads. There are n minus 1 roads already. Okay, but because of the recent financial crisis, the Bihar government is strongly pressed for money. So to build a new road, it has to close some of the existing ones. So if I want to create a road between A and C, I have to close one of these roads, maybe B and between, let's say B, between B and D. Okay, so the number of roads after making one road will always be n minus 1. Okay, there were already n minus 1 roads, and after building one and then after closing one, there will be again n minus 1 roads. Okay, road. Yeah. So every day it is possible to close one existing road and immediately build a new one. So we can on every day we can close one road, and create one road immediately. Your task is to determine how many days would be needed to build the roads, so that from each city it became possible to reach all the others, and to draw a plan, of course. And मीन्स हमें ये भी बताना है, हमें तो ये बताना टोटल कितने रोड्स, मतलब कितने दिन लगेंगे सभी सिटीज को कनेक्ट करने के लिए, और साथ में किन किन रोड को क्लोज करना है और किन किन को नया बनाना है. ओके, सो एक बार क्वेश्चन प्रॉब्लम के यहाँ फॉर्मुलेट कर लेते हैं. एग्जाम्पल कोई अच्छा सा, तो ई है ना ये तो. Okay, let's take our own example. We have one city number 2, city number 3, Here it is connected, city number 4, city number 5. So this is, let's say there are total 5 cities, that is n is equals to 5. Okay, so total number of roads are what? 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is n minus 1. Okay, we have 4 roads. Now we have to connect these cities. Okay, now how can we? Means I can reach 1 to 3, 1 to 2, but I cannot reach 1 to 4. To do this, I can create a road between 1 and 4, or maybe 2 and 4. In either way, let's create a road between 2 and 4. Then I can close any of one of these roads, right? Let's say I close this. Now I can reach 1 to 2 via here, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5. Now every city is reachable from every other city. Okay, so that is one day will be required. We close 1 and 2, and we create new road between 2 and 4, right? To explain this problem, we need to cover some basics of graphs. So let's say these are nodes. We are covering graph, right? Let's say this is so these are total 6 nodes, and we call this as a graph. What is a graph? Graph is a set of vertex, yani nodes, and a set of edges. Here the V contains these nodes and E is empty. Now when we create, let's say we can create any number of nodes, sorry, any number of edges. Now this is also a graph with V with a number of vertices is 6, and number of edges is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 edges. Okay, now this graph G is a connected graph. Now what is a connected graph? Connected. Okay, connected graph is that graph such that I can reach one node to any other node. That is, there is a path between one node to every other node. That is a connected graph. So the above graph G is a connected graph because I can reach here to any of other node, and this is possible for all other nodes. But let's say we are given this graph. This is not a connected graph. This is a disconnected graph because I can reach one to these nodes, but I cannot reach here to here, right? Because there is no path. Okay. So now we call these as connected components. Here, connected components of a is connected components of a graph. So let me write connected components. Okay. So connected components means this part, this subgraph of this graph G1. This graph G1 has 5 vertices. Okay, so I am calling this whole graph as G1. Now this subgraph of this G1 is connected, and this subgraph consisting of 2 nodes is also connected. Okay, so it is also connected component. So number of connected components in G1 is what? 2. Okay, and in here, and in this graph, the number of connected components is 1. Okay, there is only one component which is connected, so that means that graph is also connected. Okay, got this? Okay, so let's move further. Now, what is a tree? A tree is a graph. T is a connected graph with exactly n minus 1 nodes. So let's say this is our graph, and we create total 5 nodes are there, and we create total 4 vertices. Now this is a tree. Okay, this is a connected graph because from every node we can reach every other node, and also the number of edges is n minus 1. Okay, this is a connected graph. Okay, so in our question we are also given n nodes and n minus 1 edges, right? what does this mean? That number of closed, that is uh, uh, that is number of closed roads, number of closed roads will equals to number of open roads. Right? Okay. Uh, so let's say uh, this is 1, 2, and 4. So so this is, let's say this is a connected component, and 4, 5 are also here, and these are connected. This is a connected component of this bigger graph. This connected components has 3 nodes, and it requires only 2 edges to be connected, right? So what we can do is that we can remove this edge. Okay, now when we are processing the input, now this input is like that, it tells us the edges. There is an edge between 1 and 2, there is edge between 2 and 3. We can process this as input as, like, first of all we create a whole disconnected graph. Okay, and then there is edge becomes between 1 and 2. Okay, there comes edge between 1 and 3. Now there is edge comes between 2 and 3, but we know that 2 and 3 are connected already, so we don't need this edge, right? So this road in this edge can be closed. So we push this, so we push this edge to array of closed edges. Okay, and then then comes edge between 4 and 5. 4 and 5 are disconnected already, so we can connect them. Okay, now let's say if there comes more edge between 4 and 5, we say that 4 and 5 are already connected, so we can push that to close. So when we are processing the edges, what we need is to check that already, like when 2 and edge between 2 and 3 come. Okay, when the input was given to between 2 and 3, we have to check that if 2 and 3 are already connected or not. Okay, if 2 and we have to check that if 2 and 3 are connected, we can add that edge to closed ones. If it is not connected, then we can add that edge. To check this, what is the most efficient data structure? That is disjoint set union, or it is also known union find data structure. Okay, we can use this data structure to check whether these nodes 2 and 3 are connected already or not. So if now we will have all these connected components. So this DSU, what does this DSU can do? This will create a parent. This will create a root node for this. This will create maintain. Okay, this will maintain a root node for this connected component. This will maintain a root for this connected component. So we can check if parent of 2 and 3 are same or not. If it is 2 and 3 are same, that is they are in same connected component, and then we can move that as to close one. And we can check 2 and 4 are in different connected components because their roots are different, right? So we can connect them. Okay, so after when DSU has processed all the connected components, we can check all the, we will have a array of closed edges which can be closed. Okay, and we have all the parents also that are disconnected, so we can connect all these parents. So let's say there is one connected component here with 1 as a root, there is another connected component here with 4 as root, and there is another connected component with 5 as root. Okay, so how we can connect them? We can connect 1 to 4, we can connect 4 to 5. That is, we will build a new road between 1 to 4, and we will build a new road between 4 and 5. For this, there will be two nodes will already be there, 2 edges will already be there, that can be closed. That may be from this connected component, or maybe this, and maybe this. And this is granted that removing these edges will not make this component disconnected. It will still remain connected component. Okay. Any confusion so far? Hello. Okay. Okay. So strength is decreased to 10. Okay. No worries. So we can write code for this now. I'm not implementing the code for DSU. Let's say we have already class declared with DSU. Okay. We have n is equals to number of nodes. So we initialize our DSU with a number of nodes, that is n. Then for every edge ij, okay, now we will maintain a closed is equals to dynamic array. What we can is vector in C++, right? Let's say it is a vector, 2D vector, right? It will be a 2D vector. Okay, 2D vector. So for every edge I and j, we will check is in same set. That is DSU, and it is, let's say DSU has some. Let's write over here. So DSU dot is same v1 comma v2. What it does, it checks whether v1 and v2 are in same set or not. Okay. So we will check if I and j are in same set or not. If this is the case, if they are in same set, if they are in same set, then we can do this, that we push I and j to that vector, that is that this edge can be closed, right? And or otherwise what we can do is that we can tell DSU to merge these. Okay, I and j. So there is another method, that is DSU of union. So this will connect that connected components that by edge I and j. Okay. Now this our closed will contain the size of closed will be equal to size of new, means that is a number of edges within closed will be equal to the number of new rows that can be created. So what we can do is that for first of all we need to find the what nodes to connect it. For this what we can do is that uh, I explain it here, right? Where it is. So I explain it here. We can find parent of root of each connected component, and we can connect them. Okay. So if there were three roots, then we needed two edges to connect them. Okay. These are the new roads. Okay. So here also, let's say um, components, let's say COMP is equals to set new set. Okay, for so if DSU dot root, this will find root our third method is DSU dot root of some vertex v. This will return root of set containing v1. Okay. So we will find that is if root of I is equals to I. What is this? What does this mean? That I is the root of the set containing if the set it which is I is the root of set in which it is contained, right? What does so this means we have then we can add this to that set. Okay, and after this code of execution, what will have components will have the roots of all the components. Now we can connect all the components, right? So the size of component will be what less if the size of closed is 2, it means the two rows are to be closed, then the size of components will be 3. 1 plus there will be one more, right? We have to connect 1 and 4, 4 and 5. So we need connect two edges, that's why three nodes. Okay, so we can let's say from I is equals to from what we can have from I is equals to 0, I less than equals to closed dot size. It is less than size. So we will iterate over all the closed rows, and we will print, first of all we will print closed of 0, sorry, I of 0. That is closed I is the ith row to be closed, and its first part is the first node, and it is the second node. And after that it will be and we will what will we connect? We will connect comp of I and also comp of I plus 1.